Election day in Virginia. That's right. Of course, a number of folks on the ballot, including those running for governor. Yesterday, we had Justin Fairfax running for Democratic nomination for Lieutenant Governor. Today is Tom Perriello, a former congressman from Southwest Virginia, big supporter of President Barack Obama in 2008. He was swept into the House in the Obama wave. Of course, he voted for the Affordable Care Act, a fierce advocate of that law, which many say contributed to his loss in 2010 when Republicans took over Congress. Now, after leaving Congress, he became a special U.S. envoy to the Great Lakes region of Africa. Now he's running to be the next governor of Virginia. The first hurdle, that is winning the Democratic primary. He's running against Lieutenant Governor Ralph Northam. Now, of course, one of the issues, folks, when it comes to this election is who knows the candidates. Hampton University did a poll where they said that choice in the Virginia governor Democratic primary, don't know, 38%, Tom Perriello, 22%, Northam, 16%. Of course, Tom Jones is right now. First of all, I mean, that's a little hard to run when folks aren't even aware of what's going on. Even Justin said yesterday, what, a turnout the last primary was 3%?
3%. And so many of the issues we care about, from affordability of higher education, criminal justice reform, voting rights, are state issues. You know, resisting a lot of what we're seeing from the Trump administration is going to be a state issue, but people don't show up in state elections, particularly in primaries. We're trying to change that this year, convince young voters, diverse voters to get out and be part of this process.
Well, I make the point all the time to folks that you can't just focus on congressional races or U.S. senatorial races in the presidency. A lot of the things that are happening right now across the country are happening on the state level.
That's right. No, we see these attacks again on basic rights. We see the quality of public education. We're trying to switch from a K through 12 education system to P through 14, guaranteeing 1 year of universal pre-K and at least 2 years of free community college or trade school for everyone in Virginia. That's just a start on higher education affordability. But those are state decisions. But again, everyone gets revved up for the federal elections, which we understand. But really, we see that drop off. Traditionally, primary votes in Virginia are a very small number of people, and to be honest, they're older, whiter, and more affluent. What we're hoping is that we see something like the Obama coalition turn out today, not just because we think it'll be good news for us, but because we think it's a statement in some ways about the Trump administration. This is our first vote since Donald Trump became president, and they're really asking on this side of the Potomac, okay, we get it, people are upset, but are they going to vote? Is that protest energy going to turn into energy at the ballot box? And if they don't, they're going to brush it off and keep going with this division, this agenda of division and hate. But if they see, okay, people are serious about turning this into power at the ballot box, we may see some of those gears slow down a little bit. So there are federal implications to this. But overall in Virginia, you know, we continue to have a huge number of issues where we have some of the highest levels of student debt and consumer debt in the country. We continue to have one of the most repressive criminal justice systems in the country. These are things we can take on in Richmond, but we need people to show up and vote.
So if you're governor, you're going to have one of those kiss butt cabinet meetings like Trump did?
I think we are going to be looking at the Trump playbook in order to do the exact opposite of whatever we see. No, it's, you know, it is a sad thing. I got into this election. I was working for President Obama when the election happened and was actually working in Central Africa. Most of my work overseas has been as a peace negotiator in Afghanistan and the Balkans and here. So I've seen authoritarians rise. I've seen racial demagogues rise, and I do think those are the tendencies we see in this president. Luckily, our Constitution and our institutions are more resilient than in a lot of the countries that I've worked in. But you have to stand up to that and call it for what it is. When we launched in January, I said we'd be a firewall against that hate and divisiveness. I called it the most viciously racist campaign of my lifetime. And a lot of people in Virginia politics said that that was going a little too far. Donald Trump's not a local issue. I said that's a pretty privileged position to take. I mean, if you're in communities of color, there's nothing more local than Donald Trump right now. But in Virginia, we have our own history that we need to continue to deal with. But we can only do that if people vote.
Are you also, first of all, how is the Democratic National Committee working in this race? A lot of criticism, obviously, in 2016. Have they been able to drive grassroots, get out the vote efforts in the state?
The DNC at the national level has been religiously agnostic. After last year, I think there were concerns about whether they'd put the finger on the scales, so they've really wanted to wait for the primary to play out.
No, but here's what I don't understand. They could drive a turnout issue as opposed to we're going to support a candidate. I mean, I would think if you're the Democratic National Committee, you want to turn people out. So, I mean, have they done anything?
They've really been deferring to the state as far as I know. We haven't seen that. The state party also, I think, has been concerned. As you know, I got in on the later side, so a lot of the establishment folks have been on Dr. Northam's side. But, you know, what we're seeing is, to me right now, the real energy is not in the party, it's in the movements. The party's definitely seeing more numbers than they've seen in the past. But if we go to a campus and you go to the, you know, Young Democrats meeting, it's small and earnest and great. If you go to the, you know, Movement for Black Lives or the Immigrant Rights group on campus, it's hundreds of people. You see the same thing with Indivisible meetings, etc. And the question is, are we going to figure out a language that can connect some of that movement energy and the party energy? We've tried to do it in this campaign, and we'll see whether it works today.
All right, we surely appreciate it. Thanks so much, and good luck with it.
Thank you. Please get out and vote today.
All right, appreciate it.
A peaceful protest turned deadly. 37-year-old black man was shot and killed by Baton Rouge police. His hands are in the air, and you still get shot by the cops.
Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead.
We're not going to let hate define us.
Race is a big part of this.
If truly all lives matter, then all lives need to matter equally.
What we require is action. What we require is accountability. We understand that black lives do matter, and we will keep focused on this issue.
NewsOne Now, every weekday morning at 7 on TV1.